Hi, I'm Vanessa from SpeakEnglishWithVanessa.com. Today, let's talk about 6+1 bonus filler expression that you can use in daily conversation. First, let's talk about what in the world are filler expressions. I want to make a difference between filler expressions and words that actually mean something. A lot of videos that I saw on YouTube about filler expressions also included expressions that have a meaning. It's just another way to say yes, or another way to say I agree, or another way to say I'm listening. But these filler expressions that I'm going to share with you have no meaning except to kind of waste some time until you can think about the end of your sentence or what you want to say. So these are true filler expressions. They have no inherent meaning in themselves, but they're just to help you spend a couple seconds before you think about what you want to say next. Of course, I need to add the disclaimer that when you're speaking in a professional situation, you should try to avoid using these filler words because it kind of seems like you don't know what you're going to say or what you should say next. And that's exactly why we use filler expressions. It's when you don't know what you're going to say next, or you're trying to think of the next word or the end of your sentence. And let's be honest though, in daily conversation, native speakers use these all the time. So I want you to be able to fill those blank spaces in your sentences with something that native speakers would use. I know that when I was living in France, I heard a lot of French speakers say, oh, well, but... And this filler expression, but, would never be used by American English speakers. This is something that is specific to French speakers. So I'm sure in your native language you have these kind of fillers as well. But if you use the ones that you use in your native language, like but, it's not going to sound very natural. So I hope that these expressions that I'm going to teach you today will be useful to help you sound more fluid and more fluent. And don't worry about using them. Native speakers use them all the time. You should too. Let's start with the first one. The first filler expression that I want to teach you today is actually two, and I want to teach you the difference between them. It is and Let's talk about a quick sample sentence. Let's say that you're talking to your friend about your next vacation. You could say, oh, I was thinking about going to New York. I was thinking about going to New York. If you said, I was thinking about going to New York, compared to, I was thinking about going to New York, which one sounds better? Is there a difference? Yes. Oftentimes, I feel like people use in more presentation style situations. So let's say you're giving a presentation and you're not certain what you're going to say next, and you're using a filler expression, you're probably more likely to say And this is recommended to be avoided in presentation situations. So if you're having a daily conversation with someone and you have a little pause in your sentence, I recommend saying, I was thinking about going to New York. I was thinking about going to New York. The second filler word is, of course, like. Like. I am guilty of using this one a lot. And it can be overused, but it can be used in a tactful, natural way as well. So let's go back to our sample sentence about New York. I could say, I was thinking about going to New York. Or I could say, I was thinking about going to New York. It's just a filler word. It doesn't have any meaning by itself. And if you use this just a couple times in your conversation, this is natural. If you use it after every word, after every expression, it's a little bit overkill. Overkill means too much. So you might hear some people say, I was thinking about going to New York, It kind of seems like this person is nervous, or maybe they're a young teenager, or maybe they're just not certain what they want to say next, and they just keep using so much. So you might see people use this too much, but you can use it sparingly, and it's perfectly natural. The third filler word that we're going to talk about today is you know. Even though this one is you know, native speakers often just say yeah, you know. And we can add this in our sample sentence by saying, I was, thinking about going to New York. I was, thinking about going to New York. This doesn't change the meaning of this sentence at all. It's just inserted to give a little pause, and maybe you're not certain exactly what you want to say, or maybe you want to pause for some dramatic effect. I was, thinking about going to New York. Or you could put it in a different place in the sentence. You could put it at the beginning. I was thinking about going to New York. Or you could say, I was thinking about going, to New York. We can put filler expressions in a lot of different places in the sentence, and it's really natural. The fourth filler expression that I want to share with you is actually two expressions, but they're pretty much the same thing, so I wanted to include them together. And this is sort of and kind of. These are often reduced to sorta, kinda. Let's take our sample sentence and insert this filler word. You might say, I was sort of thinking about going to New York. I was kind of thinking about going to New York. I was, kind of, sort of thinking about going to New York. You can add multiple expressions. You might have noticed in this past sentence that it showed some hesitancy. I wasn't quite certain how the other person would react, so I had a lot of filler expressions. Maybe you're trying to tell your parents something that they'll feel a little bit uncomfortable about. Maybe they don't want you to go to New York, and if you're a young person, maybe that's something that you need to carefully tell them. So you might say, well, I was kind of, sort of, thinking about going to New York. This can be used to break the news easily, or it can just be used as a filler expression. The fifth and sixth filler expressions are often used at the beginning of the sentence, but they mean the same thing. They're still filler expressions, and they are well and so. Well, I was thinking about going to New York next week. So I was thinking about going to New York next week. The meaning doesn't change without those words, but it just kind of gives some pause. It gives some space before you say your sentence. The seventh filler expression that I want to share with you is actually kind of a bonus expression, and this goes at the end of the sentence. It is or something, or something, or something. So with our sample sentence, you might say, well, I was thinking about going to New York next week or something. And this shows that you're not quite certain if you're going to New York, and you're also trying to show that hesitancy. Well, I was thinking about going to New York next week or something. We often use this as well after you give some kind of advice. So if I said to you, oh, well, you should study English every day or something, it's kind of showing that I'm giving you advice, but I don't want to be too strong about it. I don't want you to feel like I'm telling you, you should study English every day. I'm just trying to gently tell you, you should study English every day or something. This is advice, but it's not the most important thing in the world. Or maybe I'm trying to make you feel like, you can listen to my advice, but if you don't, it's okay. I don't want to be too pushy. So you might end some advice with, or something. And now I have a challenge for you. I want to know, where are you thinking about going for your next vacation? And can you use a filler expression that you learned today in your sentence? Yes, of course, filler expressions are used in conversation mainly, but I want you to repeat the expressions that you learned today, because when you write them, when you think about which one to use, you're repeating it in your mind, and hopefully it will help you to remember them and learn them so that you can use them yourself. So it's kind of time for me to go, but I'll be back. I'll make another video soon, and I'll see you later. Bye! The next step is to download my free ebook, 5 Steps to Becoming a Confident English Speaker. You'll learn what you need to do to speak confidently and fluently. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more free lessons. Thanks so much. Bye!